that sign back there? The sign says, "I'm not Bruce Lee." I think we've all been there before, right? Alan talked about Jackie Chan. You know, Alan, I'm a lot older than you, but when I was growing up in school, a lot of people asked me if Bruce Lee was my uncle. I used to tell them, yeah, he's my uncle, you better watch out, he's gonna kick your ass. What a tough year this has been with COVID-19, and our community has faced its second virus, a virus for which there's no vaccine yet, that of hate and bigotry. We've all seen the social media posts, the videos, people telling Asian Americans, don't sit next to me, I don't want to get COVID. To go back to China, go back to where you came from. The slaps, the slashes, the shoves, sending people to hospitals. This horrific killing spree in Atlanta. Asian Americans being stomped on the ground. You could see their head bouncing off the pavement. And just when you think somebody's going to go out to help the woman, they shut the door. We've all seen these horrific videos. Videos as if somehow we are always the perpetual foreigner. That somehow Asians can't be American. Not American, but practically not human, with the viciousness that these attacks have been undertaken with. But we're here to say that those attacks are unacceptable, they are despicable. We are here to say that we are not subhuman. We are not dogs. We are not the virus. We are not COVID. We are human beings. We're not going to be the silent minority. The silence that honestly has made victims out of all of us. Hate. Nobody's born with hate. I truly believe that. But hate comes from ignorance and fear. Fear because millions of people have died from this virus. Tens of thousands of fellow New Yorkers. And people are afraid. They're also ignorant of what the Asian American experience, the struggles, the challenges, the brutality that we have faced. Alan mentioned Vincent Chin, a milestone in American history, where it wasn't just Vincent Chin being clubbed to death by two men with baseball bats. Even worse was not a day in jail. Where is Alan, by the way? Oh, Alan, you're absolutely right. It wasn't just that those men didn't even get a day in jail. They were fined $3,000. $3,000 for smashing a guy's head in with baseball bats. That was the government response. That is the outcry. So when we talk about crimes and bias incidents against Asian Americans, it's not just the perpetrators. We also have to look at the response from government. Look what happened in Atlanta.
Yeah.
These Asian Americans killed, shot in cold blood. And with the sheriff's department's response, the killer had a bad day. The killer had a sex addiction. The sheriff's department almost excusing the guy who just killed 8 people. That was the response. And the FBI not wanting to classify it as a hate crime. When this killer went to 3 Asian businesses, went inside with his gun and shot people to death. And they couldn't call it a hate crime. And what's happened right here in Syosset? We need to have a strong response. Otherwise, it keeps happening over and over again. When I was in the 5th grade, my family moved from Flushing because we immigrated to Flushing. We spent several years in Flushing, and then we moved to Bayside. And we're like the only Asian family in Bayside, in my school. And every day, it was like ching chong this, ching chong that. Here's your rice. Are you gonna eat dog for dinner tonight? The spitballs. Every so often, a punch. After several months of this, I went to my teacher. And I said to Mr. Chenkin, Bernard Chenkin, Mr. Chenkin, is there anything you can say so that my fellow classmates might just not do this so much anymore? And Mr. Chenkin said to me, John, you're gonna have to learn how to get along with people. And his statement was far worse than anything that my classmates could have said to me. And 20 years later, in the City Council of New York, we passed this Dignity for All Students Act. I helped pass that to make sure that schools and school districts pay attention to these kinds of bias incidents, don't sweep them under the rug, and don't blame the victims themselves.
Yeah.
And that law was passed in the state legislature too. With Grace's leadership when she was in the Assembly, the Dignity in All Schools Act that puts the onus on school districts, school administrators, the state education department itself. So when we had this kind of incident, okay, fine, do your investigation, whatever, but take action. We want the school district to take action, to send a strong message that this is absolutely not tolerated.
Woo!
We say so up here.
Yeah.
The school district actually does so in the school. And it's not just about punishment. Yeah, you know, people who perpetuate this kind of hate should be punished, but it's not just about punishments. I mean, you know, punishment, the hate comes from ignorance. You can punish people all you want, but that's after the fact. We need to get to it before the hate actually happens, and that's through education. That's through teaching American history. That's through teaching about Vincent Chin. That's through teaching about the Chinese Exclusion Act, about the Japanese prison camps, about the scapegoating of Asian Americans after 9/11, about this 150-year history that we have been made part of. Asian American history is American history.
Yeah.
I think I've overstayed my welcome, but I just need to say that we are out here. I'm so proud of everybody here saying no more hate. And we're not just saying no more hate, but we need action. We need action from everybody in government. You pay the taxes, you pay my salary, you pay everybody's salaries. We need action, and the hate stops now, but the hate's not just gonna go away. It's going to require vigilance on everybody's part here. Continue the action, continue the pressure, speak up, never let anything get swept under the rug. Thank you, brothers and sisters.
Whoa! Whoa!
Who introduced the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act and a champion for communities of color, young people, and women. Please welcome Congresswoman Grace Meng to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Congresswoman Grace Meng, all the way from across the border in Queens.
Woo!
Some Queens love here, I like it. It's such an honor to be here with all of you, to our Nassau County Executive, Laura Curran, to our town supervisor, Saladino, to Superintendent Rogers, and to all my colleagues in government. Thank you to all of you for your leadership and for being here today. I know that as we talk about this issue that has plagued our community over the last year, it's also been a tough time right here in Syosset over the last few weeks. And I really want to say to my colleagues in government, thank you for listening, and a very special thank you to all the parents and to the students and the people in the community who have been supportive of open and transparent and very necessary conversations that are occurring here in Nassau County, but also across the country. For the past year, our community has not only had to combat the coronavirus pandemic, but has also had to combat this virus of discrimination and of bigotry. I know that people are really scared. People are telling their parents and their grandparents not to go outside. You are literally leading the way. You put this together. Look at this. So give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Next, it's my great pleasure to introduce a woman who, like Congresswoman Grace Meng, has been fighting against xenophobia and anti-Asian sentiment and advocating for the inclusion of more Asian American history in our classroom curriculum. Let's welcome Nassau County Office of Asian American Affairs Executive Director, Farrah Mozawalla.
I am very proud of our young organizers who rose to this occasion and made this possible. Thank you for all that you do and for shouldering the burden and the privilege of being Asian American in this country. Thank you. Since the pandemic, our nation has seen an unacceptable and heartbreaking increase in discrimination and violence against the AAPI community. We must stand up to this intolerance and let our Asian American residents know that we see you, we hear you, and we are here to make sure that your needs and concerns are being met. Our office deals with many different Asian ethnicities, and over we hear from them that they are reluctant to report hate crimes, they're reluctant to report microaggressions. Why are they reluctant? Because of the cultural stigmas. Maybe they can't speak the languages, they can't navigate through the criminal justice system, or maybe they're just afraid. And we want to let them know that we are here for you, the Office of Asian American Affairs. You can contact us, we'll help navigate and give you the hotlines you need to contact, but please, we need to document and report these microaggressions and these hate crimes. It's extremely important. Tomorrow evening, Legislator Drucker, Legislator Lafazette, and myself and County Executive, we're hosting a roundtable via Zoom to discuss the topics and needs and concerns of the Asian youth. So please, if you can go to our social media pages, if the kids want to come, the youth want to come and be part of this, we hope you can register so that we can hear what you want us to do, and we can help you and advocate for you. So please, if you could register for that Zoom session, it's tomorrow evening. I think it's from 6:30 to 8:30, if I'm not mistaken, but you can check it out on our social media. Thank you. Give a special shout out to Eric. Eric is an intern with the Office of Asian American Affairs. He has been working with us for the last 2 years, and in a couple of years you're probably going to help him with his campaign.